Players are warmed up. Players are dropping through the sky now. This is where the nerves start increasing as you get to see which duos are contesting you, who's dropping in the surrounding area. Get a quick sneak peek of the map to see how it's going to start off. But so far, for duos like Pink and Vico, they don't have too much to worry about uncontested.
Yep, and that's kind of the name of the game in a lot of these situations, whether you go for these split drops or maybe these drops that aren't necessarily big name POIs, where you have the medallion, where you have the mythic. It kind of gives you a little bit more flexibility to start your game off, but you don't get those mythic weapons. You don't get the medallion. It's a sacrifice that you have to take, and those are the spots that were going all around the map early on. Pleasant Piazza, triple contested. You even got somebody on the outskirts of that POI as well, and you have to be very, very careful. It doesn't matter how much you practice. These are the tricks players save underneath their sleeve for moments like this to try to catch somebody off guard if they feel confident enough to go for it at least.
Yeah, I mean, Pink and Vico were one of the only two duos alongside Cammy and Seti as well to get 4 victory royales in the qualifiers. So it shows that they have that consistency, but all they need is 1 now. They got 4 in the qualifiers. They got 5 matches to get 1 today. And if they don't, that's no problem. If you get top 25, you will go to the second day of upper bracket as well. So you want to get that consistency at the same time. You don't want to get those 0-point matches. But taking a look now, our pick for a duo that's going to get a victory royale, Merstash Malabuka at Fencing Fields, contested though. So we'll see if they end up taking that early engagement or if they just get that loot that they want to continue with their game plan.
It's almost like a lot of early information on that fight. You saw the medallion was gone as well. You got to imagine Malabuka and Merstash were able to claim that for themselves. And, you know, I called it out, Chap and Con. Got to watch out for them. And it seems like smooth sailing near that POI for now. Ritzy Riviera, another contested drop. 3 people over on this side of the map. And you can see you almost have to split these drops, otherwise you're fighting for it right out of the gates. As we check on board, a quick replay, and it does look like right out of the gates, Nebs is getting hunted by Kiro, and that one was like taking candy from a baby, it looked like.
Yeah, it wasn't too fair for Nebs there. He was just trying to slide down the icy slope, but unfortunately was not able to make it out. Kemi and Seti now, you know how this duo loves going more for those split drops instead of contesting heavily populated POIs. So they're relaxed right now, but a duo that isn't relaxed, Paco Marine, currently chasing down, it seems, opponents. No elims to their name yet, so even though I only see 1 player here, and it's almost like a 2 versus 1 in a sense, I'm not sure what happened to Astral's duo, but looks like Paco Marine might try and clean this one up.
Ooh, a little nifty right there from Paco. Seeing the crash pad coming out, probably reading it from a mile away. Shoots it out, doesn't let him escape, and now they're just hot on the heels, box to box. You see them reuniting as well, but the third party coming in from the South Dakota, that is what they heard, that is what they saw. They said they don't want any more. That 1 elimination is not worth going down this early into the game, and I feel like I agree with it 100%.
You can kind of see the change in play styles from it being the semifinals here and how important it is to get that victory royale. I mean, you want these eliminations to make sure you get storm surge damage, to make sure you get loot, recuperate those materials, but at the same time, what a shot from Vox. Well, at the same time, what I was saying is, you know, you gotta play for the VR, right? You don't want to take those risky kind of engagements and plays early on.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you have to find that balance, and that's one of the biggest differences in which I was kind of alluding to start the show. This is not the similar lobbies. You don't have 250 people queuing in and out, and you're getting different people every time. This is the best of the best. Throughout 2 weeks, where duos finished off in those respective weeks, they were granted series points. Where you finish off in series points, you go to upper or to lower bracket, and this is the upper bracket side of things. And already we're seeing Marius and Sandguild going up against Queasy and Thomas, and they're so isolated away from everybody else. It feels like they could take all the time in the world to pick and choose the shots that they want to take.
2 elims on the board already for Marius. Has that bit of confidence boost from the start of this match, but it also kind of shows that it's not like they need more eliminations so early on. Already have Legendary Frenzy and the loadout mobility with the grapple blade, even medkits for the heal off so early on. So there's no need to do anything too risky. We talked about this duo at the start of the match. Vico Pink, very confident mechanically, but you never know. In the semifinals, You can't let those nerves get to you.
And I feel like this team just they have so much experience in similar situations. It's a new format, so it's not going to be exact. But remember, in the Global Championship, they went up against Cold and Acorn in the upper bracket. It did not go their way, but they had that second chance. So now they know what it's like to play with their backs up against the wall. Win and you're in scenario for them. And this is a great opportunity for them to continue the run that they've been having this season. They've been playing phenomenally on spawn, end game, start of game, no matter what it is. It seems like they have the blueprint down packed. And with the forecast tower spawning up, it does look like Hero and Kudo are going to get the first ones to try to take down the NPC and really try to take control of it. But are they going to be able to capture it is the question.
The battle for the forecast. It's always a risky one. Pink and Vico continuing to apply pressure, but the longer they take, the more duos in the surrounding area kind of want to be a part of the party to say, where's my invite? Start getting closer and closer. Shots come through. So far, nothing tragic enough to cause a disengagement or even an engagement as Vico continues hunting for those options, for those angles, for those opportunities to make something happen here. But it's now just 2 more seconds till the zone starts closing. Not in zone. The longer they take, the more they're losing out on.
Yeah, and judging off of at least one respected player out of Pink and Vico does have the heals. Can't say the same about Kiro. Gotta hope his teammate does have that HP to regain, because you talk about the zone closing. Even though it's not gonna be a ton of damage for now, it's at least something that's gonna be in the back of your mind, forcing the play, forcing the action little by little. And this is the fight for the piece control. Pink's gonna win it for now. Back down Kiddo momentarily, but you can see nobody is overstepping. Not one of these 4 players in this fight is taking a big risk to try to get that first shot, which means it's always going to be in favor of Kiro and Kuduo, who have the HP advantage, or I should say shield advantage over Pink.
Caution is what I'm seeing from these duos right now. They're being extra cautious from their playstyle. Vico dropping over a shieldfish, using more and more of those consumables that they gathered early on from the drop spot. But it looks like they're still fighting for it, Jacob. They won it. The zone is closing in on them. They're going to start ticking. It is one of the first zones, so it's not incredibly dangerous yet, but a shot gets connected from Vico. It's 50 shield. Pink as well, almost cracked now. Has to recuperate. It's, I'm not liking the look of this.
No, I'm not liking the look of this one either. I feel like the longer this one takes, almost nobody's going to win, even if you do find yourself with the eliminations. And this is something I really didn't expect to see here in the first game of our upper bracket semifinals. Especially considering the situation of win and you're in directly to the grand finals. You don't have to play anymore. You don't have to stress anymore this weekend. You get to watch the action unfold, and they're willing to put it all to the test and the risk here. It really comes down to the med kits and the floppers, Kiddo and Pink on their respective teams. They even find a bush, but a shot does get peeked through, and this is where the first of the heals are going to come out for the teams.
Third zone popped. I wonder if it pulled even further west, just continuing to increase the distance needed on the rotation. Kiddo now below 40 HP, does have a med kit, but if he starts using it, it might have to get canceled. If Pink and Vico up their aggression, as right now they're just taking pop shots, trying to get a wall, get an angle to kind of permit them to be able to play extra aggressive, because right now it's even. It's kind of that 50-50 without having that damage advantage yet.
Oh, it did.
But if Vico or Pink, they canceled the med kit. It's gonna put a little stress onto Kiddo and Kiro, but no more worries as they take out 1 player advantage now. 2 versus 1, it's all up to Pink.
Yeah, that puts a lot of pressure on a Pink. The first shot's gonna go through, no shield, sliver of HP, and the fight is gonna be finished. Kiro and Kuduo come out on top. They take down Pink and Vico, and I was even asking the chat to start the show, who do you think is gonna win? And we had some Pink and Vico fans in there. Luckily for everybody, you still got game 2. You still have the same win in your in situation, but that's just tough.
Not the way you want to start off, but for Merstash and Malabuka, contested at fencing fields, but not an issue for this duo as they have the mythic loadout now. Good on mobility as well. As we go back over, Ricky, Dre up against Lucia and Carmi. And now they're kind of slow engagement. Good news for these 2 duos is they are inside of the zone, so they have a bit more flexibility in that sense. Going for a combat cache, it seems. And we'll see how aggressive they do end up getting.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a drastic need for this combat cache for Lucia and Carmi, but definitely can bolster their loadout almost all around, from the heals to the items to the material that you're going to get from it as well. So whoever can somehow come out on top or at least grab the loot will be in a great spot. As we jump on board, Veno and Tayson, new team this season, already looking to make waves here.
Oof.
And you can see they land towards Grand Glacier. They already have the Mythic. You got to imagine they have the Medallion to follow and an elimination with the crash pads as well. Tayson and Veno are looking strong in their loadout.
Looking incredibly strong, actually. Even making use now. Crash pad rotates, getting deeper into the zone, making sure to not lose HP or shield. Even bush checking their surroundings, making sure there's nobody doing the same strategy. Bushes are incredibly powerful, especially now with the Reaper sniper rifles, having that one-shot headshot. If you're able to connect, it can be huge, just kind of taking those pop shots from the bushes, but you could also get a bit unlucky and have someone like Tayson take a blind shot at the bush and take you out. But another duo, another bush bandit here, Vortex versus Volko, with that Reaper sniper rifle in hand. This could be dangerous.
Yeah, and I like the way Mini picked them to be one of the teams he thinks is going to make it out through a VR. They've been playing so good recently. It doesn't matter if it's a third party, an FNCS, a Duo Cash Cup. These guys have nailed down their plan, and they're seemingly executing it game after game, week after week. But this is a different style of lobby like we talked about. This is a set lobby with the best of the best, with pressure on. 5 games. You win, you advance directly to the grand finals. 6th through 25th place goes to the upper bracket round 2 tomorrow. Everybody else in this lobby will have to go to the lower side of things and really fight their way back on up. And that's why you're seeing some teams getting a little bit more aggressive, trying to start off their tournament with a nice amount of points. Others just playing that consistent game through and through.
Right, and there's a significant amount of players competing right now in the lower bracket. It's happening at the same time as the upper. This is the upper bracket, just a reminder, the 50 duo set lobby. But for the lower bracket, they got that 3-hour session, 10 matches to be played out. So a bit of a different format for the lowers, and they are competing for day 2 of the upper bracket. So good luck to all the players participating there. For iDrop and Nebs, though, feeling happy. They got into uppers day 1 and now have those 5 opportunities from the 5 matches today to get that victory royale. Pretty clean rotate here. They have the grapple blade for mobility. They have the double, but it's all about getting those med kits, getting those floppers, getting those heals. The Flowberry Fizz to help you in the later scenarios. Zangi now fighting at Rift Island.
Yeah, it's just funny seeing this whole fight go down kind of like at the edge of Rift Island, while Malibuca and Mustache just kind of calmly collecting. Even though they don't get the points, it's all that loot. They're going to be able to bolster the loadout, get some more heals. While Zangi and teammate Focus are trying to burst into the box. They knew they had a dock onto 1, but the revive is going to go through, so they're just trying to continue the aggression while they know that the player is weak, and everybody's just going to try to disengage off the island as much as possible, but he drops down into the wrong box. That almost turned into a nightmare, but he was still able to pick up the elimination onto Fast Roki, but they want more. They want to take down Hydro as well, but since they fell off the island, they've become just a little bit more of a focus. Even Malibu trying to take a hand in some of this.
The third party came through, and I wouldn't want Mustache and Malibuca to be the duo that's coming in on the engagement here. Already 3 elims to their name. They did get 2 right off rip in fencing fields against the duo contesting them. But this duo already has enough loot, has enough materials, and everything they basically need if they can continue farming up here to play out this match. And they know that all they need is that victory royale. We'll take a quick look at how they ended up getting Hydro here. Oh, it was just a quick pick, basically a piece of candy for the duo.
It's just unfortunate. He was just trying to get out of the 1v2 situation. He did a lot. He even got the revive in, but they're just waiting in the wings for that perfect opportunity. And since they kind of pushed everybody off of Rift Island, I expect the next time we see Mustache and Malibuca, their materials will be looking much better than where they are now. As you see Reason and Bag Chaser, they already got the snooty steps loot. You can see it in that hammer pump shotgun. You got to imagine they have Medallion as well, but they're just outside of the zone. and they're just kind of watching out, seeing where players are. They know a team is going to be directly next to them, either above or below, and that's why they're taking their time with this rotate. They don't want to get tagged up by them or anybody else in the distance.
78 players up. They're probably thinking they had no eliminations, you know, need a bit of damage, need to find a bit of tags, and with that high elevation, in theory, you would get quite a few opportunities, but if you look at the mini-map in the bottom right, it's not like there's a lot of duos in the surrounding area to get tags on, so if they continue waiting here, could be difficult, although they do have opponents right above them. For Cammy and Seti, though, taking a rotate on the edge of Storm, but it's Queasy and Thomas HD close by, and we know what aim Thomas HD has. If he has a Reaper in hand, it could go quite poorly for Cammy here if he's not cautious. 172 above. It's good, but it's not good enough. They're going to have to continue looking for those shots, looking for damage as they continue rotating.
Yeah, where they're at right now is enough to feel comfortable to rotate the zone without forcing any plays, but it's also enough to feel very, very uncomfortable the later this game goes, especially if you're not able to secure the shots. So continue to look around the map, see where players are positioned. You see S1ned and Moneymaker, they got a spot with a little bit of elevation. You got Hen and Ski, not too far off. A lot of these teams are congested on the southeast part of the zone, but they're just biding their time, waiting a few seconds till the zone opens and closes to where they can rotate next. But flying through the sky already, he's just trying to get better positioning before he goes into the box. That's Queasy, that's Thomas, that's on the other side. And they're knocking, waiting for somebody to answer. Fight's gonna begin. Ski takes the brunt of that damage. Hen as well. They drop to just a sliver of HP, but you can see what's forcing the action. It's down on Surge, and now they're able to pick up Queasy, pick up some Surge, and feel just a little bit more comfortable in their game.
A tragic ending for Queasy. Now Thomas left alone, trying to pop the minis, but the pressure is continuing. 45 HP, 21 now, gets knocked right out. Queasy, Thomas HD, waiting for the second game as Nate and his duo partner are going to be the ones that cleaned up that engagement.
Man, with 15 teams or so down already at this point. No placement points. You're only getting granted your elimination points so far, which isn't too much of a worry here in the first game, considering it's win and you're into the grand finals, or when it comes to leaderboard, that top 25 positioning. So you can still make up for it if you have the next couple of games good, but you can see the max pull all the way toward the north side above Pleasant Piazza, where a lot of teams are going to have to begin their rotation over.
Bag chaser. I don't know what bag he's chasing so far in the zone here, but hopefully he's able to make it through. Has lost his duo partner. 123 below. It looks like, I was going to say he might have got staggered from the duo that was holding them, but no eliminations to his name, so I don't know if he's going to make it, Jacob.
Oh, he's gonna make it, but what happens after that is a whole nother story, because you got one player, Paco Marine, just looking back on him. You got another team to the right, another team a little bit more to the right, and then so many more in front, and you can see his idea to kind of save that med kit as long as possible because the zone is on his back. This is where it's just a tough situation to be in, running out of grapples, running out of time. That's a good amount of loot that just dropped, and you can see Serene seeing that one into the distance. He's gonna get med kits, he's gonna get a weapon upgrade, and that medallion. So we look at moments like this, if they come out on top, this is what changed their game.
That's what you want to see from a quick elimination, that shiny medallion alongside the mythic loot. But Cammy and Seti now actually knocked down. It's all up to Seti. Looks like it's a 1 versus 2, possibly a 1 versus 1. Nope, there are 2 players up still. Third party's coming through now. So many players in a compact surrounding area. You can even see the third party come through, but Seti does not care. That is another knockdown. 1 elimination on the board. 27 HP to work with now, though. Pressure continues as he's trying to disengage. Has that Flowberry Fizz to heal up, but he's just 1 shot away from getting eliminated. Build that box, and there it is. Seti now trying to do what he can.
I feel like not making it up the mountain fully kind of saved him a little bit as well. Ski and Hen are just up there waiting for an opportunity to strike. Man City, Seti, 2 eliminations. The pressure all by himself, but I feel like Frankie was onto something about these guys and their slow starts to some games. We saw it in week 1, we saw it in week 2, we saw it in the global championship, and that's something that it doesn't really put a lot of fear or intimidation in anybody's mind, because even if they do bad in game 1, you know they're going to pick up the pace. 261, and right here, SETI being by himself before placement points can get in, that means all these points he's going to be able to pick up as a solo with Cammy down are going to be huge and confidence boosting.
And they're still meaningful. I mean, you need the victory royale to qualify to grand finals today, but you do have to get top 25 if you want to continue competing again in day 2 of the upper bracket. So those points do matter, even if you've lost your duo partner, and it's going to make it a lot more difficult to get the VR. You still want to rack up as much points as possible. But for duos like Veno and Tayson, who have a very good chance of taking home that crown, they want to look to the possibilities. All the duos now on the southeast side of this zone. 8th zone should be appearing here, as now Janice and his duo partner have actually rotated to the side where the zone pulled, and all the duos, I mean, coincidentally, are on the same side, so it's not going to be as difficult for them to rotate in.
Yeah, you see somebody around them's down on Surge. They don't necessarily know just yet. When those shields crack, that's going to give the biggest audio cue and the clue in general to try to go ahead and get aggressive, but they don't have to worry about it. Almost 300 above the damage thresholds themselves, and that's where they're just causing so much chaos. That's Noms, that's Cringe underneath that is getting the majority of their focus. You got Malibuka nearby as well, along with Merstash, just trying to bide their time with Zone pulling back. They don't have to make any rash decisions. They don't have to force it. They just wait, let Zone come to them, along with those eliminations if they need it.
Looking back at SETI. No white heals, no way to get that HP back so far. It does have the Flowberry Fizz, even a crash pad for the rotations. That combo in this zone will launch you a little too far, so making use of the grapple blade. Hopefully not gonna get boxed up here like a little fly. Has made it ahead of zone. 302 above. So far, so good.
Yeah, take note of his conscientious decision. He does have the Flowberry Fizz, but he knows the direction in which the zone is pulling. Down mountains, up mountains. He's saving. Those are 4 uses. That could be 20 shield now, but no matter if he uses them or not, he's still susceptible to getting taken out in one shot. So he's using them for utility. He's using them for rotations. That way he can get out of a tough spot when he needs it most. And from a team that needs that tough spot, get out of jail free card, ski in hand at the top of the mountain, they do not need anything at all. They just don't need a team to push them either. Just add that on top of their list, as they just eyeing everybody on the playing field. And you can see they don't have front side of zone on the height, so they're going to have to grapple blade to the front side sooner or later.
I did only see 6 Flowberries, though, in Hen's inventory, so they could use some med kits, seeing how heal off dominant this will most likely end up, but that's for later on. You will need those refreshes. The med kits will come in time as Veno and Tayson now continue rotating through the center here, trying to get ahead of zone as quickly as possible, but so many duos close by. Even Ski and Hen now have actually been overthrown from high ground, as Flixie, Janice looking to take it.
That was just a great opportunity just to get high ground gone. That was Haris, who just went to the front side of zone shortly after. Flixie's by himself, 3 eliminations, huge amount of impact point potential as a solo, especially since he's not forced into a tough spot with Storm Surge. He spots the first team. That's Vexy, that's Perhawa. They immediately disengage out of that position. They don't like what they see, but Veno's down. That puts pressure onto Tayson, a man that knows how to handle pressure just like this, but he becomes the focus of at least 4 players. He goes down outside of the top 20.
Speaking about 4 players, Marius now 4 elims on the board, 2 medkits as well, grouped up with his duo partner. We'll have to see if the chemistry is there as opponents now continue battling it out for the high ground. It looks like it's going to be Vanyak and his duo partner that will be the ones coming out on top, maintaining that throne in the clouds, as now the zone has pulled back slightly. Brings up the opportunity to reuse those builds, those tarps that have been created. And this zone is incredibly dangerous for all the players on the side of the mountain.
Yeah, you see they expended so many mats to make that a possibility. They're hoping it's going to pay off. Vox just stuck forced to use his materials as well. He's running out. That's why he's immediately trying to change layers, going down low to the low ground to where he hopes not that many people are. And if they are, that's his opportunity to peek a shot as they're rotating through. Great amount of damage for Vox coming out. 2 eliminations. He's keeping himself alive. And another massive headshot right there. And he immediately goes and gets that loot. That was a huge play for Vox to build the confidence.
Vortexers put to sleep by Vox as now Flowberry Fizz coming through, getting that mobility boost. We take a look though, Malibuca Merstash, some of our favorites going into this match, looking incredibly powerful, have the potential to make something happen, looking to claim the low ground, but there's so many duos close by. As the aggression comes through, Malibuca straight into the box, gets knocked though, unable to get that elimination. Merstash now left alone.
Yeah, high risk, high reward play. Malibuca was able to get a lot of damage, but nothing else after that. He goes down. Merstash by himself, back to back for Merstash. 2 more eliminations, count him up, but he finally goes down, but he's done enough as a solo along with Malibuca. But top 7 situation, Shimoki, you saw them get aggressed on moments ago, and now it's their turn to turn the tides on the Flixie. They're aggressing in, but they're not able to get the elimination. He somehow escapes yet again. That's what Flixie's been able to do ever since he became a solo.
S1ned Vanyak up above, only 4 duos remaining. This might not even become much of a heal off. I don't see any players with medkits as Vexy or Chawa now down below, low ground, 3 medkits dropping, switching it up, trying to see, hey, we gotta plan this heal out off. There's only 3 duos, 4 players now up. It's turned into a 2 versus 2, high versus low.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can really contest him in the heal off department other than Vanyak on the high ground, but S1ned with just a sliver of HP. Vanyak has a huge lead in terms of those medkits. It's just about what can they do when they drop down low. S1ned's just trying to fight everybody off before he finally gets dropped by Vexy. But Vanyak runs to the backside of the zone, has some height, and the heal off will begin. Vexy's gonna be the first one dropped. He had no medkits. You saw him moments ago, giving them all over to Perhawa, who started the heal off a little late. That could be the blessing that he needs, but Vanyak, a little stagger on his second medkit use. That's gonna go ahead and give it back on over to his side. Perhawa running out of time. He only has 1 medkit left. He has to use that grapple blade to go in and find this elimination at the final moments. And this is it. With seconds left, Perhawa is going to have to go in. Vanyak has 1 more med kit left, and he's hoping that it is going to be enough. And with the fact that we're still going, he's now on the chase. First shot's going to go through, cancels the med kit, but it's not enough to take down Vanyak and S1ned, who have just qualified to the grand finals.
Our first duo from the upper bracket taking their slot in the grand finals. S1ned Vanyak are gonna be the first ones. What a way to finish it off. They had the medkit advantage, 4 total medkits for the heal off, and it came down to the wire, but they were able to keep their calm, stay collected, and take the VR.
I felt like the qualifiers Takata were foreshadowing just this, and they slipped under all of our radars, because game after game, week after week, we saw them build high ground. We saw them waste thousands of mats, even at times, because of the siphon mats they were able to get on elimination, and they were able to hold on to their position in the high ground. Practice makes perfect throughout those last 2 weeks, and congratulations, boys, you earned it.
Look, it showed. We can see how this came to be as S1ned was dominating the players down below. That was his job. He knew that his duo partner Vanyak was going to play the heal off, so he just had to cause disruption on the low. But Perhawa did a great job as well, using all the med kits. But once he realized that Vanyak had the advantage, had 1 extra med kit in the inventory, he knew he had to get aggressive and was unable to hit that hammer pump shot needed to take him out.
Yeah, during that replay package, the last elimination you saw S1ned get, it wasn't so much the eliminations that was important. You saw a med kit drop out of the inventory. He immediately gave those on over to Vanyak to take the game, but there's so much action in game 1 to break down. I'm gonna throw it over to Frankie and the gang to let us know what's good.